really appreciate you again for taking the time out of your day to hop on the show again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me come here. It's a good opportunity, man.
When did you first get your interest in music?
Ooh, okay. So this happened a long time ago. It started when I was probably about like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always listened to music because my mom, like she's young. Like my mom had me at 15.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was with her all the time, like I was her road dog.
Yeah.
So we would like, she would be bumping like, like all the old jams.
Yeah.
Frankie J and stuff like that, So I kind of grew up on that. But then once it got to a hard point, like in my life, because I went through a lot, like I was up here, but then once my dad got deported, things kind of went crazy. So with music, she gave me a notebook.
Oh.
She was like, take this notebook and like everything that you can't express, because if you don't have anybody to talk to, she's like, just write your feelings down. So that's kind of where it started.
Dang, that's good that she taught you that really early.
Yeah, I mean it was something I didn't realize what it would be to what it is now. Like that gap to now, but it also shows a lot of improvement from what I've done.
Yeah.
But it's love, man.
Yeah, because even aside from making music, I really like took up writing as far as just journaling how I feel, especially when I feel like really angry, really sad, or just really like mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Writing it down, whether you share with people or not, like it feels so good.
It does. It's kind of like a way to just get away and just let it go. You know what I mean? Like, but obviously not let it go. Be like just either learn from it or just have that as something that you helped you push through that process.
Right.
So that's kind of what it was. And then ever since then, like it went from writing down how I felt, and then like I would listen to like poetry, and I don't know, like poetry just became my thing. Like I would always write poems. Like I lived in San Diego, I lived in Brea, like from like a year difference. So when I moved, like I was always like all over the place. So writing poetry was like different types of like environments that I was in, kind of helped express that too, and then it just turned into music.
Dang. Okay.
So yeah.
How did the moving affect you? Now in hindsight, and you can look back on it. How did the moving so much as a kid growing up affect you?
Oh man, a lot. As a man now, it's like, how do I explain? The best way I can say is like I've always been like, this is where we're gonna stay for a little bit here, then we're gonna move here. So it's like if I lose like a shirt, or if I lose like some nice shoes that I had, it's like don't hold that, just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So as a person now, it's like I try to move forward with everything as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because of that process. But other than that, it's also maybe being like strong to like work on my own and make sure I take care of the bills and take care of my son, because I have a son.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's what it taught me, honestly. Responsibility.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Responsibility.
I feel like you can adapt a little bit quicker too, because you were always used to moving. So
yeah, much, right? it definitely, man. I mean, it just, when you're all over the place, like especially like going from a state to a different state, and just seeing a whole different vibe of people.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, being in California, and then going to Arizona, like people were like, "Oh, that's Cali boy right there." I mean, I didn't know how that felt. You know what I mean? Like it was just different, but like I learned a little bit of that over there, and then obviously I came back, so learned a bit everywhere. Lived in Compton.
Damn. Where else have you lived, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh shoot, it's a long list. Santa Ana, Garden Grove, Anaheim, Brea, San Diego, Compton, Arizona.
What part of Arizona?
Phoenix.
Okay.
So I lived in Phoenix for like 2 years when I was in high school. I lived in Vegas for a little bit. That's all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Have you been consistent, like where you stay, or just?
We moved from Santa Ana to Orange, and then I went to school in Sacramento for 2 years after community college. But those are the only places I live. But I know even just moving from Santa Ana to Orange, and that's one city over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember I was about to go, I was like in middle school, so preteens.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like super pissed at my parents, I was like, oh, like why are I'm leaving my friends from elementary school.
Yep.
And I remember first moving here, and I was reluctant to, I isolated myself a little bit more. Exactly.
To the change. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the difference too, because I remember I talked about it with a previous guest, in high school, I felt like I connected with other like out-of-towners. Like my best friend, he was from Watts, and he grew up in Riverside a little bit too.
So that's like completely opposite. You know what I mean? You have like nothing over there compared to like a big city with like a bunch of activity always going on.
And a few other friends too that were from out of town, because I noticed, especially in the area that I grew up in, like they develop, a lot of the kids, if they grew up from elementary school together, they develop those cliques. And they were like more hesitant to bring someone in. So like my better friends were also kids who grew up not in the city of Orange,
Yeah, I feel what you mean. Like that's what I'm saying. Like being in high school, like when you have your little group, it's like you're always trying to like make yourself look good in that group, obviously, to other people. So to like let somebody else in, it's a little more. You gotta earn kind of like the respect in high school.
Yeah.
But I mean, me being all over the place, it was just like I was always like an easy person to talk to. Like I was never like shy or like afraid to talk.
Right.
So I mean, it kind of made it a little bit easier. That's natural.
Yeah.
Luckily.
So when did the journaling and poetry evolve into wanting to make music? Was that one point, or was it kind of like a slow evolution?
What can I say? It really originated because a long time ago, like when I got to the point that I really liked music, I was in Brea and I was like recording myself like on a MacBook. Okay. That was my godparents. I was staying with my godparents for like the summer because I would stay with them every summer and like do different things. Because my parents weren't so stable, so I stayed with them. And when I was there, I remember I still have a video of it. It's crazy. It's like 12 years ago. And I'm just like chilling, like rapping to myself, talking about applesauce, just like some random crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I remember I moved back to Garden Grove for like the school year, and there was like this studio that I knew about through my friend, and so I was like, all right, yeah, I'm cool, I'm down. Like I was in high school, I didn't really have any money or nothing. I didn't know things cost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, it was just like yeah, I showed up, and then I got introduced to the people, and then I guess the people that were there at that time, they were like, oh yeah, like there's this guy Ford that comes here all the time.
Oh. So
I didn't even know who he was, never met him, never did anything at the time. But they would talk about it because they were like, oh yeah, we got good equipment, let's do all that. So I did record part of a song, but it never processed because like I never did anything with it because like, this guy's name was Matthew. He was like, yeah man, you gotta give me some money. I was like, oh, I'm in high school, man. I don't got money. Like, and that's I asked my parents or something. You know what I mean? So it went from that point, and then I just went from just always writing my stuff and of course like listening to beats and like writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And then where it really went into depth, where I was in the studio, like I was always searching for a studio, but like I didn't know like where to go, the people, the connections. So then my mom was like, oh, just call recording places. And I was like, no, mom, that's weird. It's like out of my environment, you know what I mean? I wasn't like so like comfortable at the time of like doing that, you know? So I was like, I went out to HB one night. I met this guy named Chris. He's my buddy still to this day. And he was like, we just connected. He was a cool person. Like we were talking about music. He's like, yeah, man, I got a little studio. Like,
nice.
Come to the crib. We'll kick it, smoke a little something. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, cool. You know, like that'd be down. And he had a good vibe. Because with people, like, I feel vibes, you know, like energy. I don't know, like, what it is about me. But, like, I can feel, like, if someone's, like, a chill person, I'm like, all right, I can trust, like, that start, you know? So I went to his crib and we started recording some music. And then, like, it was nothing like, oh, yeah, like, that was, like, crazy good. But it was like, damn, like, this is a good feeling.
Yeah. And
then I made this song called, what was it called? It wasn't Poppin' Bottles. It was one before that. And they played it. It's called Trippin'. It's on my SoundCloud.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made Trippin', and then like I went and met another friend, a DJ, through that guy, through my friend Chris, because we would always go out all the time. And then the DJ was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I was like, hey, can you play my song?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, send it to me, you know, next time you guys come out, like, I'll play it, like, I'll take a listen first, and then next time when we come out, if it's good, I'll play it. So then I went to Sharky's that other, like, probably like a week after. And then he's like, oh yeah, that's a good song, man. So like, he played it while we were there. Nice. So I was like, all right, and I see people like, you know, enjoying the vibe and that's turning up. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, and then he was like, hey, but the quality's not all the way there. Like, you need to have a certain amount for like it to sound good, especially with these types of speakers and all that stuff, you know.
Right, the mastering part.
Yeah, the mastering part. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I don't know too much. I don't know about that stuff. Like, music's just, I like to write the lyrics. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then he's like, I have a guy that I can introduce you to. You know, he used to do work for Death Row Records and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, you know, and he had a good vibe about it. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm down. He's like, it's gonna cost you some money, but it's like, you can take that opportunity and then you can, you know, it's up to you. He's like, and it would come out really good. So then I got in contact with that person and got the pricing and everything and just started making music from right there in an actual, like, professional studio, which with an engineer and everything. So I was like, oh man, this has like always been my dream. Like, I literally like have it tatted on me before.
Oh shit, yeah,
before
everything. The headphones.
Yeah, so like music's always just been like good outlet, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun, man.
Was this after high school or right? Like
this was, so it was in the process. Like I went all the way to being out of high school, and this is, I probably say like a year ago. Like I was like actually in like a professional studio. So like, yeah.
Dang, okay, so you're really like relatively new to this, right?
Yeah, like it's been a year, but like if you if you listen to like my last 4 songs that I put out on SoundCloud and Spotify and Apple Music and everything, it's called Nowhere Near Perfect, which is the band right here. I started like really good and like kind of, I felt like it, like I kind of got cocky about things like with myself, you know. So like I went through like a time where I was just like, I'm the shit, you know. I'm irreplaceable and all that. Like even with my job, like I was like, oh yeah, like watch, like you guys are gonna find people. So I kind of got over my head because I thought it was cool. And then I kind of went on a downfall. Like I quit my job and like kind of like went through like depression, like. And it was like it was a tough time because I didn't have money, I didn't have like things, and I was like, I have responsibilities. Right. I have a kid, like, so it took me a cool minute. But have you ever been through depression before?
Yeah, honestly, like, I don't tell a lot of people this, but like 18 through 20 was like a really dark time for me.
Hey, sure. and I can agree with you on those. Yeah. It's just maybe a different timing, but when I didn't go through it with people, I would always point out like, oh, like you're depressed, like just get over it, like smile, be happy, you know, you tell people that, like, but when you actually go through it and you like feel it, it's way different, right?
Right.
Yeah. You know, so I went through it, and then I kind of went through a dark time, and just any money that I could get, I'd like I'm gonna put this in gas, I'm gonna go out to HP, turn up, I can get some free drinks. So I kind of like started drinking a lot. So I went through like that binge, and then I remember it being Father's Day. Nobody knows this. Like nobody knows this. Period. Like I have never told nobody, but it was Father's Day, and my son's mom took me out to eat. You know, and I remember just like I had smoked, and I was like, man, like I'm faded. Like I don't have any money in my pocket. If my son wanted like something little, like to buy a toy that was like $2-3, I was like, I can't even do something like that. Like I honestly like being stuck in depression. I felt even more like a piece of shit. But it was kind of like a wake up call. Like don't worry, get back to work, do what you got to do, and hope for the best. Yeah. So then I just started doing that, man. I just started working some jobs that I really didn't like. Yeah. Because I had to get back into the groove again, and then.
I think that's humbling for a lot of, because I'm at a job right now that I don't want to say I don't like, but it's not where I want to be.
It's not where you want to be, but
and if like you just feel like yourself, you have to humble yourself a little bit more and ground yourself a little bit more. And kind of know that you have to put up with this, not forever, but just for this certain amount of time period.
Just put that time in. Yeah. And I work construction, bro. So I used to work at a car wash before, and I was like doing sales, and I was making, it was good money for me at the time. From going from that and not having to do like hard groundbreaking work, like. I started working like doing construction. Yeah. I was doing demolition, and I wasn't getting paid what I was getting paid before. And it was way harder work.
Yeah, that's some physical labor.
Fuck, man, that shit, like, it was like, I had to wake up early, like 4 in the morning, be there at work, go all the way till 2:30 or maybe 3 sometimes. And it was just so different, but I was like, I have responsibilities I gotta take care of, you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm gonna stay focused and get this done and try to get where I want to be, you know. So you know how it feels, like you said. Yeah. It just, you gotta humble yourself and like remember like what you come from, and you can have everything, but you can really not have it all, you know. Just like that's why the brand is Nowhere Near Perfect.
Yeah. That's nice.
So that's why that song. I feel like that song out of all the 4 songs, I had 5, but it was like a difficult time uploading this other song because I had put it out previously before the EP.
Was it the Moneybags one?
No, it was the intro one. Okay. It was the intro. I have a video for it and everything. It's on YouTube.
Okay. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, so, I mean, when I put it out and, like, a lot of, like, the feedback that I got was, like, that Nowhere Near Perfect. Like, even, like, people that were, like way older than me, like, they were like, that song really helped me out. Like, and to actually feel that connection with people, like, oh, it helped you. Like, actually someone, like, called me through video chat. I didn't even know who they were. Oh, sure. And they were like, hey, like, you know, I was on the midst of being suicidal, and you know, I listened to your song, and it made me realize like I'll be okay. Like I could just take some time, and I was like, that's crazy, bro. Yeah. Like I mean, I'm not nobody big or anything like that, but just to have that like as a person, like it's definitely fulfilling.
And that's the thing too, is like sometimes I think we get so caught up in wanting to make it big, whether it's artists, podcasting, or whatever it may be. But I think, especially like in any kind of form of art, because this is all this is, right? Podcasting, painting, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, everything.
If you could just like relate or touch like 1 or 2, a handful of people that you didn't know beforehand, that's special, and that's like the power of this platform or the power of this. How do you say that? the arena or this medium, right?
Yeah, that you're at. Like it just feels good.
Right.
I mean, it can be it could blow up to be something, but to have that connection, it just I don't know, it hits different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't forgot exactly what song it was, but I'm a big J. Cole fan, and I think it's High for Hours.
Yeah.
Where he talks about like one of his friends is rapping and he wants to make it big and he's upset that he hasn't made it big yet. But then J. Cole kind of talks about like, you have this platform to make a classic song that could connect with, even if it's 5 to 10 people, you're touching 5 to 10. You're touching
like 5 to 10 people. Like you're doing that.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Like everybody's different. So that's why when I say nowhere near perfect, it's like I could be the best me I can be. I'm still gonna make mistakes regardless.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna continue to learn things because I don't know everything, and just try to be my best.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. And because my mom had me at such a young age, at 15, so it was like that song kind of like there's a part where I say, but my son made me realize that it's not too late. I could do what it takes. My foot on the gas, no brakes. My mom had me at such a young age. She's a kid having a kid,
Yeah.
So it was like, but my son realized I could do what it takes. That part I put it into like, for me, because I was going through a dark time, and my son made me realize like I could really do what it takes. And then in her position, when she's so young, but she can still do what it takes to be a great mom. Yeah. Regardless of what she has or what she has to offer, you know what I mean? So.
How old is your son now?
He's 3, man. He's getting big, bro. Like. Man, that kid's he's a happy kid though. That's like good. That's what I always prayed and hoped for, man. That I just had a healthy kid and he was happy, and that's exactly what I got. Yeah. And he's good looking, luckily.
Hey, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
How did having a child and especially a son change your life?
Oh man, I could majorly. Like, I mean, I'm crazy. Like, you don't realize it till you actually have it. But while having that process happen, I was like scared, nervous, and like I didn't know what was gonna happen. So like I was just preparing myself like as much as I could, and just praying, man, just hoping like that things come out the right way and not missing a doctor appointment or like not missing any little opportunity. Like and even when he was like when my baby mom was pregnant, I would play music for her and like just do all that stuff. Like I would even reach to her son, like just random stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
like I was like when he's born, I want him to be a part of music. So, but one thing I really, really learned is patience.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Patience, because in the beginning it's tough. Like when people say it's tough, like it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's not like your whole life changes. You got to just stop, and it doesn't matter. It's not about you no more. It's about that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, when you have a kid, you don't have any kids?
No, I don't have any kids.
Oh, you plan to?
I do plan to. Yeah.
Yeah. When you feel love like from your parents, it's just like you enjoy that obviously. But when you have a kid and you just develop this type of love that like it's inseparable. Honestly.
Yeah.
Especially having a kid, like a son. Like a son. Especially having a son because, I wanted a daughter at first, but then like I was like I never had a dad, so like my opportunity to be with having a son and be there for him and do everything that I didn't get to have. Yeah. Like that will like make me even more happier. Yeah. Regardless.
You break the cycle.
Exactly. So I did break the cycle, and now me and my son's relationship, it's like he always wants to be with me. Like I take him to the studio sometimes. Hey. Every music video that I've shot, he's always, except for the first Poppin' Bollywood, which I'm not really too crazy about it. Honestly, I was learning, I was adapting. Yeah. But every other song that I've done a video for, he's always been there. Like he's always in the process. Like, and even when I'm at home, like writing music, and he just sits there. And then his favorite song is Moneybags.
Nice. Okay.
He knows the hook actually. Yeah? Yeah, he sings it to me. And then we'll be driving in the car and he's like, Dad, put Moneybags.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I like that. So, but yeah, it's a great feeling, man. Especially because, like I said, I didn't have what I had. And being able to do that and then just teach him to be better than what I am. Yeah. Give him all the tools that I didn't have. He's going to be definitely a better man than me. Yeah. 100%. I'm not going to try to let that fail.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's wonderful, man. And even though I don't have kids now, I got to work at an after-school program in Garden Grove. And honestly, like that, very similarly, obviously it's not my kids, but that changes my life because I got to meet kids that were just like me. Yeah. I work with middle school age kids, so I feel like that's a really tough era because, they're
neutralizing. They're neutralizing.
Yeah, and they're trying to become themselves, right? They're trying to break off from friend groups, but sometimes they still feel like they need to be with certain friends, and they're just figuring out more about themselves and what they're about. Exactly. And, you know, like sometimes the conversations I would have with these kids, man, like I feel like I wasn't saying a whole lot, but then like the next day, like they were so like attached at the hip, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because what you don't realize is that it means so much more to them because their innocence is so much less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We already seen how the world is, you know? Yeah. We know how things work. But they're so innocent that they just see, like, you know, you being that figure and being there around and spending that time, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I try to do that with my son. The time. It's all it is, bro.
And like the same thing you said with your son is like, I hope these kids, you know, I hope I gave them all the tools I can for the year and a half. And I still talk to a few of them because they're in high school now.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
I hope, and I was bummed because I was going to coach this year in high school for some of my kids out of high school in Santiago. Okay, and so, you know, I was looking forward to that, still connecting with certain kids that were going there. But obviously, COVID's going to delay that. Hopefully, I still get to do that.
I know. I hope you get that opportunity.
Yeah. But it's, you know, I hope I gave them all the tools and continue to give them tools to be better men than I am. You know, because I know I'm not perfect, kind of like your album and the song and everything. Yeah. I just feel like you got to, it's nice when you're able to give back. And it's cool because, like, these kids will start to look up to you. And like I said, once I realized I had that kind of platform, I'm just like, oh, shit, I got to use this for good.
Yeah, of course. I mean? And that's a good thing. Like, that's just what this world really needs right now, man. Yeah. Dealing with this craziness, like this racism and this COVID stuff, like, it's just like, I feel like this year in 2020, I've learned so much of history that I was never really taught.
Bro, yeah.
Like, I've learned things that I didn't expect that I would even learn because of everything that's going on. And it's like a big eye-opener at the same time. And I don't know, man, I just wish people could be a little bit more happier, man.
Yeah,
we don't live that long, bro. Like, it's really not worth it.
Yeah.
But I mean, people grow up differently. They have their views. They're taught certain things.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess, can't control everything.
Right.
But
and I think a better way to put it is that, like, we don't live that long, but like our lives and ourselves, not to sound like pessimistic, but on the grand scheme of things, like the grand scheme of this earth and the universe, like we're only like a speck of dust, like on the timeline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Literally.
And it's a trip because like we like to go hiking over there by like Silverado Canyon, Black Star.
Oh, that's nice.
Familiar with those hikes?
Yeah.
But my girlfriend Jenny, she did like a really cool thing where she like researched the history of it, and I guess back in the 1840s they found silver there, so it was like a pop in place of the area. Like everyone migrated over there. There was a lot of mines, and they started mining coal. And I just thought it was crazy. Like it put it into perspective. Like this, in 100 years, like this could be just like a hiking trail to people. Like none of this. Like the houses could be gone, the cars.
Nothing that happened before would even. I mean, not that it doesn't matter, but it's just like we're just going through that time so fast.
Exactly.
Like what you mean, man.
Yeah, it's just like why can't we just, like you said, enjoy it more, spread more love, spread more positivity.
My main thing, bro, honestly, like what's kept me going through everything. I never used anything that I went through, like all the instability, like you know my parents, they were on drugs for a long time, for like about 9 years of my life. It was tough, you know. So I never used that as a reason to be bad and hold it against anybody else and make myself a bad person and be like, oh, that's the reason why. I always told myself, I'm just gonna be happy, bro. Happy, keep it as real as possible. Even though my mom was doing her things, you know what I mean, and she always made sure she kept it real with us. So that's kind of like what kept me as a person like happy and just keep it real, because you never know what can happen. Like all kinds of stuff happens.
No, I know.
You can be walking down the street and a car fucking didn't stop in time and boom, you know what I mean? Like, it's not worth it to be angry.
Right.
Especially other people.
Like some natural disasters, like an earthquake could we live in California. Earthquake could, hit a 9 or 10.
And random shit you don't even know what to expect, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like my cousin, he if you watch the intro video, I made like a dedication part to him because he passed away. He was really close with me. He crashed on a motorcycle. He never knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's on his way to work.
Yeah.
But you never know.
That's why like that.
Yeah, it happened that quick. But I don't know. Like I said, it just has to do with people like being taught those types of things growing up. You know what I mean? It's it originated somewhere. No one can really locate it where it's originated exactly, but it goes through like generation and generation.
Yeah.
And like I said, like 2020, man, I didn't realize all this kind of stuff, like these statues and stuff, like what these people stood for, and like you said, Black Star Canyon. I didn't know the history behind that, but it goes a long ways for sure.
It does, man. Even like I think the biggest thing I learned this year that was the biggest eye opener, because I was a big history nerd, the Black Wall Street thing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know if you heard about that. Mm-mm. But apparently it was like this really prosperous area of Tulsa, and they just like burned it down. You know what I mean? And like it was predominantly black-owned businesses and a member of the KKK in that area. Oh, they burned it down, and I can't say exactly what year, so I don't want to like get that wrong. But I know it was between 50 to 70 years ago. So like that like was something I never knew. That was something that was never taught in our history books. And I feel like
I never knew that.
A lot of the history they teach us, especially in the K through 12, is very selective, right?
It is. It is. I agree.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're changing it somewhat because I know like as a kid they're like, oh, Columbus was this great guy, and now Columbus Day is like trying to get that push to become Indigenous Day because people are starting to not even starting to realize, but just more people know because we have access to the internet and different things that he wasn't this great guy.
We can do our research way more than what we were able to do before.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's something that I feel like it's just never gonna go away. I mean, I want to be a part of whatever I can do to like make that change. Because like I have a song like that I have like a freestyle that I have posted up, but I mean, it's like happiness is everything, bro.
Yeah.
Period. Just fuck all the bullshit.
Right.
Just try to like get along. I mean, I saw this other thing too. Bill Nye, he actually posted like why people's skin is different colors. It's just like where the equator is at and like the balance the sun levels and the balance that we're getting. That's why everybody's different.
Right.
But we're all one.
Yeah, we're all the same species, bro.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I wish people can get it together. We'll get it together soon, hopefully. I mean, did you hear that little baby song that he posted out about everything? That
was like 2 months ago. Was it like at the beginning of quarantine?
I think it was like a month ago or so.
Okay, so relatively new. Yeah. Actually, you're right. Because it was after George Floyd, I believe.
After George Floyd, I actually went to a protest. I've been going to like a couple when I have the time because I mean, obviously I'm busy work and kid and music's time, but like I went to a couple protests and it's like. At first, I was very skeptical about it because, like, I mean, I want to be there to support, but I don't know, like, how people really feel,
Yeah.
So I went and, like, just listening to the way people express themselves and talk, and you hear it, you're just like, damn, like, this stuff is real. Like,
yeah,
it's not just what you see, but it's like people have feelings towards all this stuff. So it's like, it's powerful when you're there, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy for me, the protests that I've seen, and I was able to put one together too with the help of some other podcasters in Orange County.
Oh, that's dope.
I think it's cool for me to see the amount of diversity that are there, right? And the amount of not so much diversity as far as like skin color or ethnicity and religion, but more of like, there's a super passionate people, right? The people who hold up maybe multiple signs, people who are yelling in the front, leading the marches. But then there's the people in the back too, and while they like, you might not see them as active, like deep down, like
in their heart,
it's
still there. It's
exactly,
still there.
They feel that way,
and that passion.
Exactly, and it's cool too when you see people like when you march through the streets, there'll be people who weren't a part of the marches that will join, or people who are walking by and they'll wave or they'll raise their fists in the air as a sense of like unity, right? And they're saying like not everyone can march, not everyone can be a leader, not everyone can be a speaker, but like everyone
we can all do it together.
Exactly, we can all do that together.
Especially when like people like me. Like they go in and like they break out of their shell and they just like open up their comfortability towards it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, like I said, everybody's some people are leaders, they're more out there and having more signs, and some people are quiet but they're still there being supportive.
Right.
But it's just dope when you see people break out of that shell.
Yeah.
And just be like, damn, like I didn't expect that, but like I love that. I love the faith and the power in it. So when I went, it really touched home, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, especially with like police brutality, like probably like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I was in a situation with like police just like accessing their force.
Damn.
And I even went to jail for what I didn't know why. Stayed in a cell for like, was it like 20 hours?
Wow. Got
let out, said I had a court date, took the day off of work to go to court. And they said, no, nothing's in the paperwork, that you're good.
Really?
But it was because my brother had just purchased a new car, and I guess he hadn't changed the name yet because it was the weekend, DMV's closed. Whoever owned the car before had some stuff on it, but obviously you can see the picture, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is not this person. We even explained to them many times. They still didn't care. Some guy like in an unmarked car, no uniform, whatever, came and he was like, shut up. And he was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I being arrested for? Like, can you tell me? I even have a video of the whole thing. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, what am I being arrested for? Oh, right now you're being arrested. I'm like, yeah, you can't even tell me what it is.
Yeah.
So they put me in the cop car, and then I was asking the whole time, like, what am I being detained for? And never got an answer.
Yeah.
I had to stay in the jail cell. That was like wow. Like, I could see what people, how they abuse their power.
Oh, for sure.
Just like in that Andreas case, like,
yeah.
Like, all the results come out, but like, why do they need to break cameras? Why do they need to do all this like stuff? Because they know that what they did was wrong, you know, and they try to avoid it. And a lot of them get let off, and it's kind of very frustrating, bro. Because
super frustrating.
You got to be very like aggressive about it. Like when that situation happened, nobody knows about it. Like I didn't really like push forward to like getting an attorney or doing anything, but so it just goes by and it just becomes a norm for them as officers. But I mean, not everyone's bad. I've had a lot of nice ones. Right. You know, that look out when you're like, you know, when you're doing some bad stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing too, though, is like not all of them are bad, but I feel like in that kind of profession, there needs to be, we need to hold them to a higher standard, right?
Yeah.
So like how I say, and I heard this from like a previous podcast that I was listening to. I forgot the exact name of the podcast, but let's say like 7 out of 10 are good cops, and there's the 3 bad apples out of every 10 cop you meet, right? But let's say you're driving on the freeway and there's like the freeway bridges. What if 7 out of 10 bridges were good, but then there's 3 bad bridges? Would you want to drive over those bridges if you knew 3 of them were like faultily made? You know what I'm saying? You work construction. Like, what if they were like bad construction?
No.
Exactly. Like,
I'm
so
trying to keep my life.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like doctors. You know, you don't want a 30% like death rate.
See, but with that too, with that, if you don't have the good medical care, if you have like the basic stuff,
true,
you're not gonna get when somebody gets it. They pay like their PPO or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously you don't want a bad doctor, but sometimes we're kind of like put into that category regardless. But hell no, I would not want a doctor doing an operation if I knew they weren't solid. It's like someone that's new, they still got to break open, but they still need time to develop. Like, I wouldn't take my chances.
Yeah.
So actually, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the nurse that actually delivered my son was her first delivery ever.
Oh, wow.
So I've actually been through that experience, and it was actually like...
Was it smooth?
It was smooth. Luckily, like, thank God, like, it was smooth. So yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I would not want to drive over that bridge, period.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think the police force as a whole, because like you said, not all of them are bad. I don't even think 50% of them are bad, but just they can't be like some bad apples, because I've learned too that their unions are really strong. And then like you said too, they'll take advantage of, you know, these people from lower income areas and don't really have the resources to, you know, attack them with attorneys or lawyers. And and that's, you know, that's the saddest thing about George Floyd and Trayvon Martin and all these other people that have been gunned down.
So much stuff, man. There's so much.
You know, I just remember like the first, it was 2014, I think, when Trayvon Martin, was it George Zimmerman, his name, the guy who killed him?
To be honest, that situation, I don't really know the details. The only one I remember is that one guy that was outside, like, you know, like, had like some cigarettes. He was selling cigarettes outside the store.
Yeah, Eric Garner.
Eric Gardner.
Yeah.
When I seen that, oh man, that's sad, bro.
Yeah.
That's like, you get sad instantly, and then you just get angry right away.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why? So, what you were saying?
I was gonna say, I think the family, you know, when they lost the case and George Zimmerman was able to walk free, like, dude, it was. I remember that was like the first time I remember seeing so many like protests and seeing like so many people angry and upset.
Rise.
Exactly. There was no video of that one, I believe, but it was just like, what? Like, how is this guy gonna get off free? Like, I mean, he just like murdered this teenage, you know, kid. And the same thing with all the other ones, man. Even when the George Floyd video first like dropped, I remember like scrolling through the timeline and like, I guess kind of to what you say, like, sometimes you act with emotions, so you don't want to like watch things at a certain time.
Yeah.
But I remember like, you know, seeing the caption was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this fucking happened," or something outrageous. And
outrageous, like, caught your attention.
Yeah, it caught my attention, and I remember stopping by it, and you know how it shows you the still image before it plays.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, like
his
knee was on his neck, and I'm just like, oh, I already know what's gonna happen. I can't watch this right now. I forgot where I was exactly. Yeah. But I was just like, I gotta like watch this at a different time.
I watched it on the way to taking my kid to school, like right before I took off, and then I remember just driving the whole way. And then I was like, I talked to my kid about every situation, like stuff like this, and I was like, Papa, always be nice to everybody, like do your nice deeds to everybody, like just don't ever be mean. So I always teach him that. And when I watched that, I was just driving, and I was just like, man, like, it's heartbreaking, bro. Like it hits you in a way that you don't even know how to express. Right. It left me speechless, like that. Honestly, like I was like, fuck. Yeah. I I never saw that.
Yeah, no, because it goes to the opposite of the spectrum. You were saying, I wish everyone was happy. I wish the same thing. I wish everyone could spread happiness. But there's some people in this world that are just like can be so cold. They could be so heartless. They could be downright evil sometimes. And it's like, damn, yo, like, what? And working with kids, I understand like the development process. I think a lot of it is nature, but I think a lot more of it is nurture.
Yeah,
like the environment you've grown up in.
When you miss out on something that you should naturally have, especially like you have a kid, it takes two people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You miss out on either side. You search for that as you get older, and then it can either lead you on a bad route or it can lead you on a good route.
Yeah.
Because you want to be the opposite of not having what you had, or you can use that as an excuse. I don't say it's an excuse, but you can use that and lead to the bad route and be like involved in some stuff that you shouldn't be involved in. Yeah. And that's where that kind of stuff happens, you know.
And I would even go further. I think, obviously it takes two people to raise a kid, like it's a particular home. But I think the more positive role models you could put in front of your kid at whatever age.
Who you involve yourself with.
Exactly. I think that is huge too, because I looked up to a lot of my coaches growing up playing different sports.
Yeah.
I used a lot of them. I had a really good godfather, a few good godfathers that I looked up to. Some good uncles, some good cousins.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Exactly. So I feel like getting put into those certain scenarios and having those people involved in my life definitely benefited me for the best. Because I got some things from my parents, but I also know I got some things from my godfather, some things from this football coach.
You took all the good traits.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You learn. There's just different comfortabilities that we have. Like there's some stuff that I would tell my mom that I wouldn't tell this other person. There's some stuff that I would tell this other person that I wouldn't tell my mom. Because you feel like judgment and stuff like that. So it's like there's different comfortabilities of having that plays a long role in it too. Right. So and then it's always good to get back like you've been doing. So like you see how you had those influences. Yeah. Now you're doing what you're doing and giving it back, and that's good. That's how things should be. But I mean, it's a cold world.
Yeah. But sticking with the same topic, who are some of those role models you had in your life?
I would say it was tough, man. Like I really didn't. I had my godfather, but once we moved to Arizona, obviously the relationship wasn't there. So I had my godfather, and then at the same time I had my mom's boyfriend. He was on drugs, but he was he had a big heart, and I could see that, So I would say him. He taught me to be a man. I remember being in middle school, man, and like you said, like we were talking about earlier, it's like you're at that adapting point to learning to be who you are. And he came, that was the time that he came in my life in middle school, and I was like, little sissy, man, somebody's gonna bully me and I'm gonna let them. I wasn't tough. So he taught me don't be scared. If you can't do it, tell yourself you could do it and just be strong. So that's definitely him for sure. Changed me made me be a man, not afraid.
There you go. And then as far as musically, who are some inspirations for you that kind of that inspired you to write the way you did?
Oh, I would definitely say Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's always been a day one person that I've always listened to, and 4 too, for real. 4 when I remember when he was coming up and making his way to where he's at now, there was a lot of songs that I would listen to and I would relate to. I'm damn, he's talking about his dad. I would start tearing up, man, and just so just having that real story, but also having that creativity from Lil Wayne, his metaphors hit way different than anybody else's. So to me was I want to have a dope metaphor and have a real way of explaining what I'm talking about. So when Nowhere Near Perfect, when I was doing that song, I was listening to what I was going on. I listened to a couple songs of Wayne and who else would I say? Definitely Tupac too, for sure. I listened to that real raw stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Keep it real. And I just write, bro. And it just keeps me keeps the creativity alive for sure. But yeah, what about you?
A lot. I'd say a lot, man. I really like Nas. I really liked his album Illmatic. Yeah. I feel like he was one of the greater storytellers in hip hop throughout history.
I feel you.
But I also drew a lot of inspiration from the game. More current, J-Rock. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, J-Rock is dope too.
Yeah, his recent album really hit home. I felt like that was a really good one. There's a few other artists too, that had maybe not their whole discography, but Mac Miller's The Divine Feminine. Yeah. I don't know if you ever listened to that one, but that one was when he was in love with Ariana Grande. Yeah. That was crazy. I never heard an album about love like that. The way he described it, it just that that's kind of like how I feel when I need love.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was super cool, like to hear that. And like Mac Miller, I wasn't huge on. Like I like some of his songs, but I remember that one. I was like, oh, I'm like all in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a few other ones. A Tribe Called Quest. You know, like a few of their older. Tribe Called Quest. You don't know?
Oh man, you gotta put me on, man. I try to listen as much as I can, but
yeah, it's a 90s. Yeah. It's a group from the 90s.
I gotta take a look. My brother. See what helps out too, honestly, with music.
Yeah.
My brother, he's younger than me. He just turned 21. Mm-hmm. He likes all that, like like the 80s, 90s, like hip hop. So he'll show me a lot of stuff, and then like I don't know, I can't be like Big L. Mm-hmm. Big L, like I like a lot of his songs, like just that raw like material, bro. It's that real shit,
Yeah, I'll definitely shoot you some A Tribe Called Quest. They're very they're very jazzy. They definitely, when you like look at bigger picture. I read a few books on hip hop and like documentaries and stuff like that because I'm into the documentary kind of things.
Yeah.
But like Tribe Called Quest definitely like created a new lane for people like Tyler the Creator and Odd Future. Because like I think like for the most part like hip hop was all about like it was either like gangster rap like on the West Coast, right?
Definitely.
And it was like NWA or there's other times where just like spin the truth. Like even Run DMC, they were very like what's going on in our area and that kind of stuff. But like I feel like A Tribe Called Quest was more of like that, like the influence to lo-fi. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like the introduction to like being chill on a rap song.
Yeah.
And like you can just kick back and like not like stress, not party, not like be too high, but you're like more on the come down. But it's like something you can bob your head to for sure. And it's like I don't know. There's some like really like good A Tribe Called Quest songs.
You gotta show me, man. Show me some stuff. But with Lil Wayne, like that song, I felt like dying. Like like when I was depressed, man. Like listen to that song, but like he's like, okay, I'm stuck in the bubble. Like how do I like get myself out? Like I'm in marijuana dreams floating on and on, and like it's just like you feel that type of way because you're trying to get back to where you want to be.
Right.
So that song, I mean, there's so many. There's a whole catalog that he had.
Even the song he did with Eminem called No Love.
No Love.
That was a good one.
Yeah, like I got blood in my eyes and hate in my heart. Like all those lyrics, man. Like it just you really feel that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that type of creativity is where I kind of go with my stuff. Mm-hmm. And like I would say, new artist wise, Lil Baby is like super dope. Like I like the way his flow is and he's like. What he talks about, he keeps it real too, just like that song we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But then he can also make up some like turn up stuff, like
or
I'm gonna go get some money today and do my thing. So it's like that's how I try to be as an artist. Like my first song is Savage, then you have Nowhere Near Perfect, and then you have what's the other one? Going Up for the Night, and then you have Big Bag. So with Savage, it's more like I'm gonna be a savage, but I don't give a fuck. Like like, you're gonna see what I'm talking about with how I'm savage. And you have Nowhere Near Perfect, where it's like. It hits home. It's like I've been through this shit. Like I've been through these times and points in my life, and I'm nowhere near perfect. But I'm gonna be the best that I can be to make shit happen.
Yeah.
And then you have Big Bag. Big Bag is like I'm gonna work today. I'm gonna go get some money so I can go and turn up and do some things. And then you have I'm going up for the night. It's like I'm already turning up, and I want to play some stuff like I can drink to and chill. So I as an artist, I try to be very versatile on like what I do, and like I'm trying new things like. Nobody knows, but I have a Spanish song that's already done. I have like some like step up, like do you know who Doughboy Tony is?
Yeah.
Doughboy. I seen him on here.
Okay.
And we have a song together that we're doing. It's more of like a dance, like step up, like some shit. Like I'm gonna come out, and like I'm gonna like we're gonna rock you, like in the same way.
Yeah.
And then I have another song, so it's called Money, but it's coming out soon. It's more of like I started an album, and that's the beginning track, and that shit just.
Okay.
The way it goes in, bro, it's like I'm pulling up and I'm sipping. Like you already know how I'm living. It's like I'm gonna give you some like relentless type shit in that song. So it's like I try to be versatile with everything, bro, and just have an open mind and not like when I was in the studio and I tried like auto tune for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, man. I always like hated rappers that use the auto tune. Like they always like feel like they can't really rap, but and then I tried it and you see a different perspective, and I was just like. Oh, okay, that shit sounds dope, man. Like, I feel like I'm in like a little Travis Scott or something.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to be open minded, definitely for sure. That's what pushes me in music. Having a new goal, new obstacle, new opportunity that I want to like try to hit, like with the Spanish stuff. Like,
right.
I don't even speak Spanish, but I learned the lyrics.
Really?
I learned the lyrics.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just memorization.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's been a big part of like. Music for me too. Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. Jay-Z taught me that 18 times is the father of repetition. If you can say something 18 times all the way through, you will never forget it.
Damn, 18 times? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and every time I write my verses, I write my verses and I'll say it 18 times. I'll say it over and over. Yeah. Any song that I have ever made, I don't forget it. Like,
I gotta start doing that with like important dates and birthdays because I'd be forgetting those all the time,
bro. You know what helps me too is like in my car, like I'll put like sticky notes, like right here, like just like stuff that just to remind me, like be happy, like smile today, like give a nice tip to somebody today. Like sometimes I'll be doing random stuff, bro. Like and I'll tell somebody like, oh, you look really nice today, or like. Yeah. I'll be like, I'm in the drive-thru. I'm like, hey, how much is the order behind me? Like, I'll take care of it. Like,
oh shit, pay for it.
Pay for it, like, cause people done stuff for me all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just,
that's dope, man.
Being cool with everybody.
That's dope, man. I forgot what I was gonna ask now. Oh, so as far as like going nowhere near perfect, the song. You mentioned that you've been writing and journaling, and that's more of a personal song too. Do you feel like it's difficult for you to share something like that on the mic when you get in the booth? Do you feel nervous at all, or is it kind of natural?
Oh man, that's a good question. Because every time, since that song, I made that song, and it took me a little bit of time to put it out. Every time I'm dealing with like situations, because I still do, even as a person now, like I work my ass off and do what I gotta do, but I still get put into situations. And when I listen to that song, I'm like, fuck, man, like this reminds me like, don't worry, it's okay, you can't control everything. And when I let it out on the mic, it was like I was dealing with some stuff with my family. It's like, look, I'm not gonna sit here and listen. The way that I'm moving is different. The things that I'm going through, I'm setting aside. Like, my family had like recently, like they were like really on me. Like, you do this too much, you do that too much. Like, you need to calm down. So it was like, look, I'm not gonna make the same mistake and be back where I was at. Yeah. So when I let it out on the mic, it was like, I guess that was like my calm state of mind. Like, I called my family back and I was like, hey, like, love you guys. Like, I understand you guys care. Just understand that like I'm on a different route right now. Like I'm not gonna let myself get to a bad point. Right. And I appreciate you for caring though. Yeah. So it was the best feeling. That song, like that's why I feel like it's the most talked about it with everybody. Like, dude, like I love that song. So
yeah, it definitely hit home with me too, for sure. And I think
appreciate that, man.
Even the way you said that about family always looks out for you in your best interest. But I think sometimes they try and portray like what they think onto you, without sometimes considering like what you want, what your ideas are, and that kind of stuff.
True emotions.
Exactly. Yeah, and so I think sometimes you could just have that conflict, the natural butt heads. Or even if it's like outside of my parents, I would sometimes clash with like cousins, uncles.
That's exactly what it was.
Like, you ain't even like even living with me like that. How you gonna say
like,
that? You know?
Come on, like I respect you can, but you can't like think you're better than me, whatever. Like I'll listen to you, but then when you like tell me something, and then like it's continuously like bad, like I'm not gonna get what I want. I'm not gonna sit here and listen. Yeah. I mean, like I'm not mad. I'm mad at you, but I'll let this pass so you can see that I'm not gonna be that bad way that you think I was. Like, cause like drinking, like when I was like going through that time when I was low, like they're like, now that you're good, like you have a good job, like you're doing your music, like don't mess it up. I'm like, okay, I won't. Like you gotta stop drinking. I'm like, I like to drink on occasion, I like to smoke. I'm young, like. You know, like don't try to control me too much. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what the issue was.
Yeah, and I feel like as long as you're responsible with it and you can, as long as you know you're in control, I think that's the important.
That's the most important part. Yeah. And then the second part of the song is like, it is what it is. I pray for the benefit and prepare for the deficit. It's the principle and not the subject. You cross me and you want to act suspect. I was dating since me and my son's mom ain't together no more, obviously. I was dating this new girl, and you know everything was good. She was older than me. I thought everything was cool. I was like, all right, you know, I have someone that's mature. They're about their business. I was like, I'm gonna give it some time, see what's up. Went into a relationship. Everything was cool, and then it ended up happening to where she ended up sleeping with my friend. So it was like I never would have thought that kind of situation would have happened to me. Yeah. So it was like it was kind of like a secret. They were like playing these games back and forth, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with this. Like. I'll walk away because I'm fine as a person. You know?
Yeah, you shouldn't, man.
So that's why I was like, you cross the line, you want to act suspect. I've always been the one to show respect. I tell like it is. You can either take offense or take all offense. Take no offense, make a mistake, deal with the consequence. So that's kind of where that part of the song led to. I did it at a different time frame. And then I added the singer, and I wasn't even in the studio when that song, when the singer did it. Oh, okay. It's Skrizzy. He's really good, man. Very talented guy.
What's his name?
Skrizzy.
Oh yeah, Skrizzy. Okay.
Yeah. So
he from Garden Grove area too, or?
I believe so. I mean, I'm not specifically sure. Okay. I'm 100%, but I mean, no, he's within the area. Yeah. But I know I have a producer, his name's Darren. He was in the studio with him, working with the song with Doughboy, because Skrizzy's on Doughboy's project.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, hey, I have this other song, like, do you can knock out a hook for him? He was like, yeah, let's see, let's play it. So he heard it, and then the last part, it says, I keep it real, but I'm nowhere near perfect. And then he was like, I was thinking the song was going to be called Changes.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, it was there, and then was like, and showed it to me afterwards. I was like, bro, like, that's just hard. Like, yeah. I was like, that sounds so, like, it just matched perfectly. So that's how that song came about, man. And then the name got changed to Nowhere Near Perfect.
That's dope, man.
So then I was like, that should be my brand. So, like, I started doing my clothing line, doing, you know, a little bit to what I can do to push forward with that. Like, have it as a brand. It's obviously the name of the EP. To keep it 100% legit, I even got it tatted on my chest.
No way.
I swear, if you can see.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, man, like, it's something that's really, like, invented into me because I strive to be the best person. My mom always told me, she's like, you're not going to be perfect, but just be the best you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of my music, everything has to do with my mom. Everything.
And something that's helped me climb out of, like, the hole that I was in when I was younger, we're going back to the depression talk, is the quote, progress, not perfection. Because I think a lot of times we strive to be perfect, but perfection is, you know, not always, it's not really.
Having expectations is not a good thing. Right. You have goals, not expectations. You can't expect it to happen because the universe works the way it wants to work.
Exactly. And perfection is different to everybody. So if, you know, you're constantly looking for outside people of like, oh, like what's perfect to you, you're gonna constantly get different answers. So you're gonna constantly be chasing this thing that doesn't even really exist. So I just feel like as long as you're making progress to what you like yourself
and the way you're doing it in your comfortability, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna put money in your pocket. They're gonna feed you. They're gonna take care of you. You can take care of yourself. You'll have people that help out, but primarily when you're an adult, it's all on you. So it's like you just gotta do it. Be about it. Try to be the best person you can be. So that's why I'm doing
it. Yeah, man, I love that, man.
Yeah.
So during quarantine, obviously, it's a big part of this year. Was creating music and anything kind of impacted at all? Did it help it? Did it stunt it at all?
I had an opportunity to go on to a couple of different venues and like be able to perform and like, you know, push further with what I'm trying to do with my music. And I couldn't obviously do that because people don't even want to like go outside and be associated with everybody. Like I had a release party for like for the Nowhere Near Perfect EP. I was gonna do a release party. I had the venue. I ordered like a party bus and like I was gonna rent a couple cars and I had two of my buddies that were gonna drive those cars. I was gonna have my car. I was gonna have my merch. I was gonna do like try to go all out with everything that I was doing. And when I got everything arranged and cut everything off.
Damn.
So I was like, fuck, man, like this shit sucks. Like, and then some time went by and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait to put the EP out. Like, you know, there's a couple others gonna like probably add or change out, whatever. And then again, I went to do another release party and I had everything set up and cut everything off again. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna put it out. But with music, it kept me inside and more, obviously because we're all quarantine stuff. Yeah. It kept me writing. I have like chart after chart, like in my notes, that's just different beats and different songs. So I have like a weapon to use when I go in the studio to use. So quarantine's helped me out in that way. But man, it's just boring, bro. There's nothing to do. Yeah. So I'm just like, I mean, having that creativity is a little bit more difficult. Definitely. Yeah. But it also sparks something because it's like, you know, what is this really about? Like, what is all this stuff? But what about you? Has it cut things off for you in a way?
A little bit. I think for me, like my creative side was able to free flow a little bit more. I mean, I started the first at the beginning of quarantine. Both my jobs were put on pause.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was tough, but I felt like it was a blessing in disguise for me, at least, because I've always wanted to like write more. I've always wanted to do more things with the podcast. I've always wanted to do more and more, but I just never had time because I was like, you know, 6 to 6, and then whatever time I had after that.
That's 12 hours.
Yeah, so whatever time I had after that was like time to
You're already
sleep.
Worn out.
Yeah, I'm worn out, so I had like barely any time for any of this, but I was still doing what I could. And then, you know, quarantine hit, and sure, I couldn't do in-person interviews, but I was able to do some via Zoom, reach out to other people. I ordered stickers. You know, I fixed things around the house. Like I fixed that bike. For the longest time, I couldn't ride my bike because it needed to be fixed.
That's true.
And I love riding bikes, so I was able to fix that. Like first week of quarantine, you know, I just felt like I was able to do a lot more that I put off.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So I was able to get stuff like that made, and
that's dope, man. I like that.
Thank you, man. So I felt like I was able, like I had a lot of things like in the queue basically, and I was able to kind of like knock off one by one, knock off one by one, knock off one by one. And sure, I didn't get to knock off everything because I did return back to work like maybe a month and a half, 2 months into quarantine. But still, like I felt like it was really good for me because I was able to put some of that stuff
relief. Like with me, like now that you say that you did all these things, I'm like, yeah, oh shit. Like I was like, I put grass in my backyard.
Yeah.
I put a little TV back there, bought like an umbrella. Like I didn't really have the time to do that. I'm always work, kid, this and that, always on the go. You know what I mean? Especially living in California, like life is just so like
fast.
Yeah, and living in Arizona is like it's slower, and then you come here, it's just like everything's so quick moving. So when you're going through life, you're just on the go, and then when that happens, everything's put on pause, and you realize like, oh shit, like family means a lot. You know, spending more time with family. Yeah. Getting closer with my family is definitely a thing. Me and my brother, like our relationship's always been up and down, because like I don't know, I can't really say why. Yeah. But we got closer, got more things done, but that's it. So I agree with you on that level.
Yeah, and I just feel like, man, it made you, like you said, it made you realize that there's more important things, whether it's family or whatever else, like going into hobbies and like what you said too, doing the thing in your backyard with the grass. Yeah. That's important too, because I feel like a lot of us have, it doesn't have to be big dreams, but let's say someone is a homeowner and they want to put down brick in their yard. Exactly. They want to paint a fence a certain way, or they want to put plants or something like that. I saw a lot of that on the timeline in Instagram and Twitter, and my friends doing that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's perfect, man. I wish, you know, like you said, maybe it's just California and maybe it's just like a United States thing, but I feel like we live to work almost, instead of like working is like more of a side thing, but like put ourselves first.
And put ourselves first. Mm-hmm. It is. It's just more of like I say like, not American thing. I don't really know how to explain it, but to me, because I've lived in like Vegas and like you know how when you look at the flow like in New York, people are so fast. Like there's a gang people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you go to like where I would say Texas, everything's so spread apart, and then you come to California, especially LA. LA's everybody's moving, doing this and doing that. There's so many more cars in the street. I mean, and like in Arizona, like it's really spread apart. So I feel like it's a lot of that too. You know, just different like diversities in like how people move their lives. Yeah. So, and then just realizing we got to take a step back and look at the big view and be like, all right, you know, this is our life. Like, working is important, but also enjoying each other is really important. Right. So,
yeah, because another thing too, I didn't even get to mention, like I got really into yoga. I found like some really good like yoga YouTube instructors. Like I was doing that like every day. I found I started a website with my friend. Like we were really into sports, and so we got like a team of writers, and now there's like 10 of us, and we write about sports and some other stuff too.
That's dope, man.
Some of us are writing about like movies, TV shows, that kind of thing too.
That's dope, man. See, I like that type of creativity stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like those are things I need to push myself more in, and having those types of hobbies. Because I mean, obviously, like music is like, it's not a hobby. It's kind of like it's my career now. Like, if I really want to be something about it, I got to do it all the way. But those types of hobbies are like nice to have because it brings creativity out of you, you know. And I see what you mean. Like, you got more creative.
And it's relaxing, man. Yeah. Even like painting, like she is right now. Like, we started doing that during quarantine, and it sometimes is really nice because I feel like painting, especially how I started. Like I wouldn't. Sometimes I feel like in life that I'm like, oh, like this has to be a certain way. This has to be a certain way. No matter what it is, whether it's the podcast, fixing the bike, even like whatever. Yeah. But with the painting, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just throw this color on it, and then throw this color on it, and then see what happens. Like I'm just gonna. I don't know if you ever watched Bob Ross. Those Bob Ross videos.
See, those are the things you gotta share with me.
Yeah, okay.
Some stuff afterwards, man.
All right, I'll show
I'm interested. Trust me, I try to keep a broad range. A bunch of new ideas, but
I forgot what era he is. He's probably from the 80s and 90s. But Bob Ross was this famous painter, and he had a TV show, I believe, on PBS, where his whole thing was like happy little mistakes. Like he was a painter, and he would start off with like 3 blobs of color on a painting. What do you call those?
Like this, a canvas.
Yeah, canvas. Yeah. And then he would just like add different things, and like before you knew it, like an hour in, he had like this nice forest scene. But it was like, how the fuck did he get there? And he was just like so freehanding it, and he was talking to you while the video's playing, and his constant thing was happy little mistakes. So I feel like I definitely try to incorporate that in my life, no matter what it is to like not try and be so perfect and attack whatever it is in life. Whether it's this podcast, school, working with the kids.
Little things, just kind of like a similar.
To Nowhere Near Perfect. Yeah. Exactly, and it's a great way to go about life because you're gonna make mistakes, but as long as you can bounce back after it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You can have everything, and you can rise, you can fall. That's all as long as you just keep pushing to be.
And you can still be that pretty painting at the end.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You never know what's gonna happen. So that's dope, man. I definitely gotta take some time to.
Yeah, I'll shoot you that Tribe Called Quest and whatever else, man. Whatever else you're into.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, the only artistry that I really know is like my grandma. She like my great grandma. She was really into paintings, and she has like these clown paintings and stuff like that. And I heard that with a lot of money, and she has them like on like little what is it? The little trays that have like the clown paintings. So that's the only thing that I really know. I don't know the name. No, they're like porcelain like plates and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like the artist,
like the fine china.
Yeah, like the artist that painted them. I guess he's really like famous, but obviously I don't know the name.
Yeah. Do you have other people in your family that are either like music background or like other kind of art?
My brother, he's kind of like, he's the one that started rapping first because he was in Mexico for like probably a whole summer, and he started rapping, and then I started rapping after him, and he was always in competition with me, so he was like, if you're rapping, I'm not rapping, but that's pretty, I would say that for sure.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So as far as going back to 2020, what are some other goals that you have for this year?
Oh man, I have some things that I'm planning. So obviously, my goals is to get more interviews down for sure. And I actually talked to a management team yesterday and went over some details. I have a contract that I'm gonna work out. So my goal is to go through with that and be able to use that as a push to stay more focused and, you know, with my music and going different areas to get, you know, different sides of different things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of just being so like focused on like, oh, this type of flow or this type of flow, you know what I mean? And I have another project I want to put out before the year ends. I want it to be like at least 10, 15 songs.
Nice.
I mean, we'll see how the process goes. You always have a goal, but things always change.
Yeah.
And just, you know, just keep working hard on what I'm doing, like, and just try to like take care of my son as much as I can to like teach him. That's my biggest goal is my son. My son is what makes everything else happen around me. Yeah. Because he keeps the happiness in me.
What's your son's name, by the way?
Matthew.
Matthew?
Yeah, I have it on my body right here too.
Okay, nice, man.
I got a puzzle piece. It's like the missing piece to my life. So
nice.
I'll show you so you can see, get an idea.
That's dope, yo.
Yeah.
Family wisdom too on it.
Yeah, so it's just my son, having a good relationship with my mom for sure, because our relationship's always been rocky because of things in life. So that's a big thing. As long as I have the things that keep me happy, which is family and like my close friends that I consider family, everything around me kind of like, I feel like it will work out. You know, like with my music, you know, obviously just being a father and just being focused. That's my main goal, man. It's just sticking forward with what I'm doing. On foot on the gas, no brakes, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you? What's some big goals that you have?
Big goals. I want to get some merch started, man. And honestly, like, I don't know. I've talked about it. I don't know, have a plan yet, but I do want to like quit my morning job right now.
Okay.
And then kind of just have something. I don't want to be like, I'm not really a big salesman. I'm not really on like that business mind. Like I have a lot of good ideas, but I feel like I'm not the type to like, oh yeah, like buy my stuff, you know. So I'm still trying to figure that process out.
I'll help you, man. Yeah, whatever I can do to help you. I got some merch that I started too, and I'm just trying to, you know, push forward with it.
But just, you know, I got some stickers made, and I'll shoot you some too after.
Yeah, I got a shirt for you, man.
Appreciate it.
You gotta let me know what size you are.
Yeah.
So if I have it available.
Okay.
In the truck, so.
And then, you know, just grow the podcast organically. I started a few other ones too, try and get the ball rolling on those as well. Because I do that, like this one's just me, but the other ones I started are like a team of people. So
that's right too. Trying to bring different creativity.
Exactly, different ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Thing better than one.
Exactly. You know, and so just trying to get like those out the door, get the website kind of rolling too with more, and just be more consistent, but just I guess try and find a way to monetize my art. Like there are people who are out there that take advantage of Patreon, take advantage of, you know, whatever there may be, and like sure, I'm not like, especially like because I'm still starting up, I'm not gonna live this like luxurious life, but I just, you know, I think it'd be really cool even if I made like a couple of bucks, like $20 off the podcast or $20 off these stickers. You know what I'm saying? It feels better because like I did that versus punching in the clock. No matter how hard I work, I'm gonna only get $15 for that hour.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I work, I'm only gonna get that for that. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you mean.
So just trying to put myself a little bit more out there, because there's definitely been jobs where I've had like that in the past, and I'm like nervous to get rejected. So just, you know, put more of myself out there, try and have some merch.
You're perfect, man. Just be the best you.
Exactly.
Be comfortable. Just be open. You know. And luckily, with my job is like, I work at window tint. So I do tinting, details, wraps. It's always consistent. Like, oh, they sell this, so you get that. So it's just you can open up that perspective. It just takes time. And patience. But you'll get there, man. You will have the right mentality. As long as everybody has the right mentality and like they make ways to go forward about it, and everything's work out, bro. And just be consistent. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then one more thing I want to do with the podcast. We'll see how it is with quarantine, but I want to like travel a little bit. See if I can get record an artist or something. You know, people out there in like Seattle, Portland, Arizona, even. That's not too far. Like just get in the car, drive 8 to 10 hours, and see if I can. You know, obviously with social media, it's so easy to connect with someone out there, and just kind of grow outside of California a little bit. Take that leap of faith and venture out.
That's dope, man. Anything I can do to help push that forward, but I know a lot of. Luckily, since I've been living everywhere, I know kind of a little bit of a lot of people, you know. Yeah. So anything I can do to help, bro, I got you.
Appreciate that, man.
You know, I mean, it's like that's what life's about, man.
Yeah,
making each other and making the connections. So, but yeah, man, that's dope. That's good.
Yeah,
it'll happen. I see it.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So before we wrap things up, I do like to ask you like fun, quick hitters, just to kind of help the audience to get to know you a little bit more.
For sure.
If you could have any kind of toppings on a pizza, what would it be?
It definitely has to be mushrooms.
Mushrooms?
Mushrooms and a lot extra. I like the cheese. I like thicker cheese. And I like extra Parmesan.
Okay. So cheese and mushrooms.
Cheese and mushrooms.
All right. Fairly simple. Pepperoni, sausage, and then give me some spinach. And I like pizza. So if you go like pizza presses or like those create your own, I like pizza with the white sauce. Honestly, more than marinara. Like marinara is good. But I like the Alfredo sauce they put on pizza, man.
You can get that at Blaze Pizza.
Blaze Pizza Press. I think Biology has it too. So.
Biology? I thought it was just pies. My mom told me she went there and she was like, "No, it's much more than that." Bitch.
Yeah.
All right, for sure.
Yeah.
What else?
If you could talk to any person in history, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh shit. Lil Wayne.
No way.
Lil Wayne. The creativity and the work ethic and the motivation and the drive that you have to be so continuous, because he's a person that's just put multiple mixtapes, like you know, always working, like, and just having that mindset. Is still relevant, but he's not super popping. But like, what was your like your feeling when you're in the studio? Was those types of things? That's something that I definitely would. A person I would love to talk to and sit down with, and maybe eventually one day do a song with.
Yeah, that'd be tight, man. That'd be tight.
Yeah, that's a dream. So that's a big person.
Okay, let's say you're stranded on an island, but food and water are provided. What are 3 things you'd want to bring to pass the time?
Oh man, that's a tough one. What would I really want? I would say a basketball. For sure, a basketball. Obviously, I have to have the court and everything. I hope that's considered.
Yeah, we'll count that as one. Yeah,
we'll count that as one.
Bundle.
I like to go a dirt bike.
Oh, okay.
I love. I used to ride a 350 Yamaha.
Okay.
Go out to the desert all the time. But definitely a dirt bike. So those 2 fun things. What else? I would say a gun to go shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
I like shooting, man. Just setting a target up and just aiming and just. You know, being on point. Yeah. It's you know, it's tough because you have that.
It's good recoil. Practice the focus, man.
Yeah, the focus, because you have that recoil, and you know, aim is like a hard thing, but definitely that. That's just something interesting I would have.
All right. If you could have any kind of exotic pet, what would it be?
Monkey.
Monkey.
The little monkeys.
Okay.
I was looking at them the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit, $4,000." So I was like, that could be in the question, but I mean, I don't know if you can get in trouble for that.
Yeah, there's certain like states that I think that's illegal, right?
Yeah, see, I don't want to be looked at as a bad person. I'm like, he has a monkey. like Joe the Tiger,
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic, like, no. See, everybody looks at him good or bad. It's like, but yeah, monkey would be dope. What about you?
I would go crocodile, man. I really like been amazed.
Crocodile? That's scary.
It is scary. I'm not like saying I have to interact with it, but I just think it'd be cool to have, because I always thought it was cool. Like, even as a kid, man, like crocodiles and alligators come from the same family, but like they've been around. Like they're probably one of like them and sharks are like one of the oldest. And,
like,
turtles too.
That's lasted.
They're like one of the oldest species.
Turtles last.
One of the oldest species like on this earth. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And so like they've been doing it forever. Like they've withstood like meteors and global warming and all that kind of shit. So
that's
I think
true.
I think it's kind of cool that they've survived for so long.
Imagine to just be able to talk to one.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean that's random things that I think about. You know?
Yeah.
What else? What you got for me?
Last question. If you can give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say, oh man, made a lot of bad choices, but also good choices. I'd say just ignore trying to make people like you. Stop trying to be the cool one, the one that stands out. Just be yourself and just stay focused. You know what I mean? And be happy. That's it.
Awesome, man.
Just stay focused and just don't worry about how people think of you, or you know, try to make other people like you better, and try to do things that aren't you to make somebody else like you. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you again for being on the show.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Before you go ahead and plug where you can find your music. Anything else you want to plug on social media?
So social media wise, you can go on my Instagram. I took off everything because I have nobody knows the reason why I took everything off. I was just going through some tough things the other day, and I took everything off, and I was like, look, I want a fresh start. So I have a new video that's gonna come out. It's gonna be to the song No One Perfect. I have everything set up. I have a super dope videographer.
Okay.
I have some cool whips in the car. So I mean, in the video. So that's gonna be one thing to look out for. And then if you go to the link in my bio, it goes to my YouTube. You can look up Nowhere Near Perfect. That's, you type it in on Spotify, Apple Music, anything. That's the first thing that pops up because there ain't no album out there that's called Nowhere Near Perfect.
Yeah.
And then one thing for sure is just follow my my YouTube channel.
Okay.
With all my music and everything like that, because having those subscribers helps out a lot, and I'll show some love back to other people.
And that's Richiee Richh with 2 E's.
Yeah, two E's and 2 H's. That's what people get a little confused. They're like, "Why is it Richie?" I'm like, I mean, I gotta be a little bit different.
Yeah.
The Richiee Richh name came because that's when I was younger. Like, my name is Richard, so they always my family called me Richiee Richh. Hey, come on, let's go. And then I realized it was a cartoon, and then he lives like a really rich life. And I was like, that's the goal.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the goal. But yeah, so just look at Richiee Richh, Nowhere Near Perfect. I got a couple songs that are gonna be coming out, a couple singles. You can go take a look at those, and got some new stuff. I've been working, so I got a lot of stuff in the vault right now that I want to release. So
dope, man.
That's just the big thing, is just be on the rise and look out for me.
All right, awesome, man. Looking forward to it.
I appreciate that, man. 100%.